Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name's John Griemer, Chief Sales Officer here at LYNQ, and I'm your host today. I'm joined by my colleague Curtis Patching, who is presenting Maximise Output with Effective Scheduling. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. You'll all be put on mute, and if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box that you'll find in the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll endeavour to answer them either during the session or after. To make this session as interactive as possible, we'll be running polls. Please complete the polls as they appear on your screen. Now, for those of you that may not be aware, LYNQ provides small to mid-sized manufacturers with effective resource management in a single plug-and-play solution. Today, LYNQ MES improves the effectiveness of more than 10,000 resources, increasing efficiency, productivity, and profitability of manufacturers. Now, without further ado, we'll turn this over to Curtis.
Thank you very much, John, and hello to everybody. My name's Curtis Patching, and I'm a solutions consultant here with LYNQ. I'm really looking forward to delivering this webinar to you all today. I thought I'd just give a little bit about myself before we proceed. I've amassed over 7 years worth of manufacturing related experience and successfully implemented the LYNQ solution for a multitude of clients ranging across numerous industries, including glass and ceramics, metal fabrication, and medical devices, to name but a few. Now, as you can see from the slide, I have popped my direct contact details up there, so please do feel free to reach out to me personally. Now, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera at this point to minimize any risk to bandwidth, and we can proceed with the webinar. Okay, so I'll switch that off and proceed. Now, what is the purpose of today's webinar? Well, it is for us to explore how we can maximize output with effective scheduling. As such, the agenda will be to take a look at some of the common scheduling challenges, explore what is effective scheduling and the benefits to it. We'll take a real-world insight into the LYNQ solution and finish with a summary and a bit of Q&A. Now, these are some of the scheduling challenges that manufacturers we have worked with over the years have faced. As you can see from the slide, spawned of manual-based methods to scheduling with subsequent challenges and resultant impacts. Now, ERP-generated schedules. These are often based around infinite or rough-cut capacity planning only. That can yield unreliable delivery dates and cause excessive or insufficient inventory levels. The impacts to that are increased costs and dissatisfied customers. If we think of scheduling via Excel spreadsheets or via whiteboards, this causes constant firefighting, a lack of visibility, and renders us slow to react to change. Impacts there are lower output and increased lead times. If we think of tacit knowledge, the idea that all of the know-how and knowledge is inside one person's head with no backup, that means we have a lack of reliable definition and subsequently an increased risk of errors. All of the above lead us towards having an uncompetitive business. So we come to the first poll of the webinar. Now, I would ask you all, what method do you currently use to schedule? Is it via ERP, Excel spreadsheets, via whiteboards, or maybe another method? Okay. Interestingly, I can see that the majority of us on this webinar have cited that we use Excel spreadsheets to currently schedule. I know firsthand what that's like from experience, as well as from working with the multiple clients that I have, the struggles and challenges that they have faced scheduling manually with spreadsheets. There is a better way. Which brings us to exploring what is effective scheduling. Now, as John mentioned at the start, LYNQ provides a single plug-and-play manufacturing operations management solution formed around the international standard IEC 62264 that you can see on the screen here. This international standard prescribes 8 core activities for manufacturing operations management, and I've highlighted here 4 of those core activities crucial to effective scheduling. Now, resource management refers to your resources required to manufacture, for example, your machines, tools, labor and materials. Definition management refers to the rules to produce a product, for example, your standard product routings. Now, all of this information is maintained and managed in your ERP database and instantly visible for detailed scheduling. Detailed scheduling is maximizing the use of your resources to create optimum production plans. And finally, we have dispatching, which is the transfer of those production plans into online visualization and interactive job lists for easy execution across your shop floor. So what are the benefits to effective scheduling? Well, with effective scheduling, you can maximize the loading of your resources and achieve high levels of order fulfillment. Other benefits include on-time service to customers. That is high levels of customer satisfaction. Increased utilization of your resources in the form of employees and equipment. You're able to generate operational efficiencies through astute product groupings to minimize setup and changeover times. You're also able to increase your overall factory output through optimizing manufacturing workflow and reducing your lead times. Finally, and perhaps the most important, it enables us to remain competitive in what we know is an ever-changing global context. So we come to the demonstration portion now, and I would say that there is a real wealth of tools and functionalities inside of the LYNQ solution. And due to the limited time I have with you today, I can only show you some of those capabilities that give us the tools for effective scheduling. But let's take a look. Now, a few slides ago, we referred to the fact that the LYNQ solution is formed around those 8 core activities prescribed in the international standards. As you can see here, those 8 core activities, and indeed the LYNQ solution formed around them, we're going to start inside of the area of detailed scheduling. Now, what you can see on your screen is the advanced planning and scheduling portion of the LYNQ solution, referred to as Visual APS. It is seamlessly connected with your ERP database. And we can see here in this tab, directly beneath, you have your Factory Explorer, where you are able to instantly see your resources in the form of work centers, work units, and tooling. To the right, you have your task panel. In this task panel, you can also instantly see your work orders, captured routings, like so, as well as captured bill of materials, as we see here. Now, inside of the task panel, you can also see a multitude of attributes running across the top. These attributes are not exhaustive. You certainly have the ability to bring in additional attributes and even user-defined attributes from your ERP should you require. Now, the solution gives you tools to sort, group, and filter any of these attributes, but you're also able to create custom rules to organize and prioritize your work orders. Here, you see, I have a selection of work orders surrounding that of bicycles and different types and sizes of bicycles. Now, to explore that custom rule concept, as you can see, I am able to quickly home in on work orders for unisex bicycles, maybe bicycles for boys and also girls at the click of a button. What springs to mind is a client I recently implemented inside of the food industry, whereby these custom rules proved massively important when scheduling things like formulas and allergens. Now, this task panel is comprised of different types of work orders. As you can see in these tabs here, we have your live production work orders on the first tab. Next to it, you have visibility of any related work orders. That is, any multi-level bill of material structures you might have in the form of parent finished goods with child sub-assembly levels beneath. And you can visualize these structures in this related orders tab, as we see here, with full material visibility at all levels. Next, you have your MRP suggested work orders, which are schedulable for longer term capacity planning. And finally, you have what's referred to as what if work orders. These are work orders that are creatable independent of your ERP for scenario planning. Now, take for example, a customer reaches out to you and requests a large demand and wants to understand your ability to fulfill that demand. Well, you could leverage these what if work orders to simulate that demand and understand your capability to promise against it. Now, beneath the task panel, we come to the graphical planning board down below here. This is where scheduling activity will occur. Now, what you can see on the left-hand side are your work units. Spanning from left to right along the top here is your defined planning horizon. My planning horizon is currently set to 4 weeks out, a month forwards, but that is fully customizable to be short or long term depending on your requirements. This graphical planning board also gives you variable controls for visibility. You're able to zoom in to the minute granularity scale should you require. And then on the flip side, you're able to zoom out as far as to a month scale, as we can see here, appreciating this full detailed visibility, short and long term, based on your planning horizon. If you think back to the challenges with Excel spreadsheets, this would be particularly hard to achieve. Now, as we have our resources all in place, we can begin to define a finite capacity model for scheduling, not infinite, not rough cuts. And we can begin doing so with a functionality in the solution referred to as shifts. If we take a look at an example, here we can see that we can leverage customizable activity codes that you're seeing represented in these different colors here to define our true working and non-working times, therefore giving us a finite capacity definition. Subsequent to that, we are then able to assign that finite capacity definition to your work units that you can see in the planning board below. Now, if we take a look at a work order and we reference back to that captured routing from ERP, if we look at operation 1 here for this particular product, it is primarily routed to work unit MBFA 01 that we can see down here in the planning boards. Now, it might not be that kind of one-to-one or black and white scenario in your environment. It might be that this particular product could be scheduled and run on multiple or alternatives. And that definition is exactly what you can build into the solution. Now, the solution does cater for and allow you to manage unlimited constraint definitions. If we take a look at this work order, this same work order again, and notice how we see against operation 1, we have tooling assigned here in the form of a jig. Now, the system can see this as a secondary constraint to scheduling. Should you face those alternative type of scenarios where you have those scheduling flexibilities, as we can see, if I come up to the top here and just show you, what I can do is show the alternative flexibilities you might have, opening up that same work order. MBFA01 is the primary work unit, but you see, we also have MBFA02 and MBFA04 as possible options. Should you have this type of scenario, you're also able to define constraints born of differing work unit capabilities. For example, if a product can run on these alternative work units, but perhaps at different throughputs, that is definable, as is if a product cannot run at all on one of these scheduling alternatives, also definable. Now, looking at our list of work orders up here, you'll also notice these visual material indicators. These are time-phased, dynamic visual indicators based on a traffic light system to show you quickly where you may face material availability issues, any shortages by work order that could represent a constraint to your scheduling. Now, let's explore the first method of scheduling, that of drag and drop scheduling in the solution. Now, if I take a work order and I proceed to drag and drop down to my planning board, what I can see is that graphically in the planning bars, you will see a yellow color appear, as well as a yellow thumbs up, which symbolizes to you that you have scheduled but not yet saved the plan. Now to the right, you'll see there's a scheduled start and scheduled due date. As we schedule, these scheduled dates are dynamically updating and reflecting when we have scheduled this work order for. Should I unschedule this particular work order, the dates revert back to the original ERP calculated scheduled dates. So we always maintain those ERP calculated dates until we dynamically schedule and update the dates accordingly. It's important to say that until you are happy with the plan, you are not confirming or saving it at this stage. Now, taking this particular work order, if I look into that a little bit more, notice that we have also been able, in one click, drag and drop, to schedule that secondary tooling constraint that we saw earlier. If I was to take another work order and drag and drop it down to my planning boards, now notice this, I can successfully schedule to MBFA01 and MBFA02 and MBFA04 without any issue, like so. If I take another work order and proceed to drag down again, we see those same flexibilities, but now take a look at MBFA02 here in comparison to MBFA04 and 1. The throughput is scheduled to be 3 times as long, so that throughput constraint due to a differing capability is captured and reflected. Now if I take yet another work order and drag down to MBFA01, I'm able, and MBFA02, I'm able. But now look, as I come to MBFA04, the system does not permit me. I cannot do it due to constraint definitions built in. Having these constraint definitions built into the solution really starts to safeguard you from any reliance on tacit knowledge. If you think, if all of that is in one person's head, you're really open to risk of errors and ineffective scheduling. Now, with this manual drag and drop scheduling, I am able to easily reschedule work orders just like so. And as I drag and drop in single clicks, drags and drops, notice how I'm able to effortlessly minimize planned loss through scheduling to a finite capacity model. All the while scheduling entire work orders with operational steps sequenced appropriately within. Something important to mention with this drag and drop scheduling is that should you receive an urgent demand or customer demand changes and you need to react, instead of the challenge we have with Excel spreadsheets where it's hard to react quick, we can be nimble with this type of scheduling, utilizing the auto shift functionality we see at the top here. Should you need to drop in an urgent demand into your pre-existing schedule, you can. One click, drag and drop that urgent order in. Affected work orders will shift out to the right to accommodate seamlessly. Now, let's explore another method to scheduling, and that of auto scheduling. Now, as we have our finite capacity model in place and constraint definitions defined, we can be confident that we can select work orders en masse and schedule them efficiently. So if I take my work orders here and proceed into auto schedule them, I'm faced with some considerations amidst this process. Now, first of all, I could choose whether I'd like to schedule in a forward direction from a selected date or in a backward direction from a selected date. Indeed, scheduling backwards from a selected date may well foster more of a just-in-time approach to planning and scheduling. Now, also amidst this auto scheduling process, I'm able to start thinking about prioritization and product groupings. Now you can see in my work orders here, I have a series of colors. Now I can simply group by the color of my bicycles like so, and even maybe prioritize the sequencing of the colors of these bicycles. And maybe even as a secondary measure, we see different types and sizes of bicycles. Well, let's group by that as a secondary measure. And what you can see is that within colors, let's look at yellow here. Within colors, you see like for like products grouped efficiently. This begins to foster operational efficiencies as this plan hits the shop floor. You're minimizing setup and changeover times. Now, let's execute this auto schedule, the result of which we are able to quickly see in the graphical planning board and understand what the loading looks like to each of your work units. Certainly, as you look at each of your work units over here on the left, you can see a percentage that tells you the residual capacity on each of your work units. Again, utilizing the variable zoom controls, should you wish to zoom out, you can then start understanding not only short-term, but a long-term picture of your loading, and even identify particular work units that may represent a bottleneck resource. Now, at this point, if you reach a point of happiness with your plan and you'd like to really freeze this or lock it in place, then you can do so simply by selecting your work orders and utilizing the pinning functionality in the solution, just like so. And as you can see graphically, these pins have appeared, and what you've done is locked down your schedule. From this point, you may wish to then schedule some of your MRP suggested work orders onto the top of this to understand longer term planning, maybe some of the what if work orders for further scenario planning. Now, as mentioned before, if you are happy with your plan, and only once you're happy with the plan, you can then save and publish it. And we can do so with a couple of clicks like so. And amidst that process, what happens is that the yellow graphical planning bars and the yellow thumbs that we have been seeing have all turned to green, as you can see here. And that is a symbol to you that you have confirmed the plan and indeed scheduled that plan. Now, referring back to the scheduled start and due dates, what has happened in this save and publish process is that these updated dates have been written back to your ERP, ensuring a closed loop of information. A second thing that has happened saving and publishing this plan is that it has been dispatched into online visualization and interactive job lists for easy execution on your shop floor. I think important to say is that it's particularly via the auto scheduling we witnessed there, in minutes, you're able to create optimum plans. And let's move into the dispatching of this plan. Now we arrive at the dispatching dashboard, and in this dashboard, you can see quickly and visually two key metrics that a production planner is measured upon, that of loading and order fulfillment. Now, in this dashboard, you are indeed able to select chosen resources. So we can do so very simply. And also, you're able to define a particular time range or period. Let's do that. And what you can start seeing easily, visually, is the ability to monitor your effectiveness of scheduling. If we take this into the production plan, what you see here is a visual online view of the production plan we just dispatched. This production plan is able to be visualized on any device. That might be large monitors on your shop floor. It might be PCs, laptops, or tablets. Now we know that this production plan has been dispatched via job lists to the shop floor for execution. As the shop floor begins executing against a plan, we begin to see visual cues against work orders. As you can see in some of the colored visuals that you see here, if we hover over this particular work order over here, 501, you're able to see a view of plan to actual. Notice that in terms of quantity, we see that a plan of 10 units and an actual report of 8.64, and then below that, time information, a plan of 21 hours versus reported 18.81 hours, and then the fact that one production issue has been raised against this particular work order during execution on the shop floor. Adding to that, you can see that there is a ticker reflecting current time with every second that passes moving along the top of your production plan. With that, you are able to quickly gauge the plan versus actual progress based on current time. All of this fosters plan adherence. Now, what we can do from the production plan is actually drill down into particular work orders for further detail and granularity. Here we arrive at this work orders job card, and what you can instantly see is operational progress. Understand the captured bill of materials. View any relevant documentation to this work order, and also view any particular issues that may have been raised during execution from your shop floor. Now, returning to the production plan, you are also able to visualize this in more of a list type format, as we can see here. You can see that grouped by your work units, you're able to expand beneath and see the prioritized job list along with progress information towards the right. Furthermore, you can print the production plan with associated barcodes should you need to. Now let's take a look at the equipment plan, which is what you can see here. Now, visually, quickly understand your loading to resources. And what you're able to do is drill down into a particular resource. Let's take MBFA01 again here. And what you're able to see is the operating, productive, and loading percentages to this particular resource. Understand what is the schedule to this particular resource, as well as gauge that daily granularity of how loading looks to this particular resource quickly and easily. If we take it up a level and we move into a view referred to as the production status, what you're able to see here is a bit of a higher level view pertaining to the status of your work orders. Now, you can view the status of those work orders maybe by type of status. You see here, you may wish to understand what work orders may be late or in progress, and you can do so easily. Should you have those multi-level bill of material structures via related jobs, those parent to child subassembly hierarchies, then you're also able to view those related work orders. Also, as we see here, you're able to view related work orders in the hierarchies with all levels of visibility also. Now, arriving back at the home for the LYNQ solution, for those of you who are interested in continuous improvement, the LYNQ solution provides full loss visualization. And if we just take a glimpse of this, particularly relevant to what we've been exploring together today in this webinar, is that of loading loss. With this loss visualization provided, you're able to begin identifying and understanding what your loading loss is, and then begin minimizing and eliminating it, really via effective scheduling and in pursuit of continuous improvement. So let's return to our slide deck. And we come to this slide, everybody, and I wanted to pop this in here to give you a glimpse into the timelines associated with the implementation of the LYNQ solution. Now, in under 1 hour, you can have the LYNQ solution installed, fully connected with your ERP database, and be instantly visualizing your resources, work orders, captured bill of materials, and routings. Within 4 weeks, you can be scheduling your live production environment with the LYNQ solution, and in typically 12 weeks, you can have the entire LYNQ solution fully implemented. This tried and tested methodology can yield rapid return on investment for you in less than 6 months. So let's go to a second poll of the webinar. When would you be looking to implement a solution for effective scheduling? Now, might it be in the next 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, or not quite sure? All right, I can see that the majority of responses really fall into the first 2 brackets there, within 1 to 3 months or 3 to 6 months, which is fantastic. So everybody, we come to the summary. And what I would say is effective scheduling can be achieved with a solution that gives you seamless integration with your ERP. We explored those core activities of resource and definition management as defined by the international standard that is pertaining to importing your resources, work centers, machines, capturing your bill of materials and routings. That seamless integration, a solution that can manage multiple constraints born of your machines, tools, capabilities, materials, and people. A solution that is able to minimize planned loss. Now we saw with the drag and drop and auto schedule methods that you're able to create optimum plans, leveraging finite capacity. You're also able with those methods to minimize setup and changeover times on the floor, generating those operational efficiencies, ultimately maximizing your order fulfillment. And finally, a solution that can increase your overall visibility and foster plan adherence. The online transfer and dispatching of your production plans into visualization and interactive job lists for easy shop floor execution achieves this. Now, everyone, we all know how complex and challenging scheduling really is. But I'd really say with a solution that is a single plug and play solution for manufacturing operations management, we can achieve that effective scheduling. So I'd like to really finally just say to everyone a big thank you for listening to me and ask if anyone has any questions.
Just a question from Pete. I have a customer that may be interested in scheduling. How do I schedule a one-to-one demo? That's quite easy. If you go to our website, lynkmes.com, you've got an option to schedule a demo that will put you'll have access to my diary and be able to schedule a time that works for you. Pete, there's another question here. I'm only interested in the APS part of your solution. Can I purchase this piece only? No, the APS is part of, as Curtis mentioned, a single closed loop manufacturing operations management solution. So it's all part of a single solution, and you get the benefit from it all being connected. So unfortunately not Pete there. And that's all the questions I've got to answer today. There may be a few in the questions box that I'll have to get back to you on those tomorrow. By the way, this obviously take a look at our LYNQ MES website. There's a lot of useful information on the website. We've also got another webinar coming up, so please look at registering for that on the 16th of December, same time, increasing productivity without headcount. Any questions that I haven't answered, I'll get back to you tomorrow morning with answers. This video will be recording will be backed up and archived, so you'll have that recording as well. I'll be sending it out to you anyway tomorrow. And lastly, thank you very much for your time, everyone. I really do appreciate you giving up your time to take a look at this, and we look forward to speaking with you, hearing from you shortly. All the best. Thank you.